I'm going to tell you 7 secrets that most hunters never discover. Secrets that old-timers guarded like family heirlooms for generations, that professional hunters use every single day in the field but rarely share with anyone outside their inner circle. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner who just bought your first rifle or if you've been hunting whitetails for 30 years straight. I guarantee that at least one of these secrets is going to change the way you hunt from this season forward. Watch all the way to the end, because the last secret is the most important one of all and the one nobody ever talks about. Let's get into it. Secret number 1, learn to read the terrain before you hunt it. Most hunters show up to their property, walk to the same old tree stand. They've been sitting in for years and wait. Big mistake, and it's one the industry loves because it keeps you buying trail cameras instead of developing actual woodsmanship skills. Professional hunters do something completely different. Before they ever climb into a stand, they study the landscape. They look for specific signs that tell them exactly where deer will be. Terrain funnels where 2 ridges pinch together and force deer to walk through a narrow corridor like a natural hallway. Rub lines on trees that reveal the travel routes of mature bucks and tell you which direction they were heading when they made them. Fresh scrapes on the ground where bucks paw the earth and leave scent, marking their territory and communicating with does in the area. Food source transitions where the timber meets a field edge because deer feed on the edge, never out in the wide open. And bedding areas where the terrain gives deer a wind advantage so they can smell danger coming from the direction they can't see. This scouting takes less than an hour, but it changes everything about where you position yourself for the entire hunting season. Hunting in the right spot is more than half the battle. Your grandfather knew this because he walked the land every weekend. He didn't need a $500 trail camera to tell him where the deer were moving because the land told him everything. Now, here's something most people don't realize. This terrain reading skill is just one piece of a much larger system. I collected 12 of these ancestral techniques that the industry buried and put them all together in the Hunter's Vault. It's a complete guide with every forgotten skill your grandfather used to fill his freezer year after year without expensive modern gear. You'll find it in the first link in the description. But stay with me right now because secret number 2 is going to completely change when you decide to go hunting. Secret number 2, there is a right time to hunt, and it's not random. This isn't superstition, and it's not some old wives' tale either. Deer are more active at very specific times, and the science proves it. It has everything to do with light levels, air temperature, barometric pressure, and their natural feeding behavior patterns. The 2 absolute best windows to be in the field are simple: dawn and dusk, the first 90 minutes of daylight in the morning, and the last 90 minutes before darkness falls in the evening. At dawn, the light is low, and the temperature is cool and comfortable. Deer that have been moving and feeding through the night are making their final movements back toward bedding cover. At dusk, the same thing happens, in reverse like clockwork. The heat of the day breaks, light fades, and deer get on their feet, heading from their beds toward food sources with purpose. But here's the part that separates good hunters from great ones. Weather changes activate deer movement more than anything else. Before a cold front arrives, deer feed aggressively in the open, because their bodies sense the approaching pressure change. The biggest mistake most hunters make is showing up at 9 in the morning and sitting until 2 in the afternoon, right in the dead middle of the day, when deer are bedded down and barely moving at all. The secret is simple, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Whenever possible, be in the woods at first light or at last light. That alone will double the number of deer you see this season. Secret number 3. There is no magic call or lure. What exists is the right approach for each specific situation. Professional hunters don't have one favorite grunt call they swear by. They have an entire system, and they know when to use each piece. The secret is matching your approach to 3 critical factors. First, the specific animal you're targeting and its current behavior. A rutting buck responds to aggressive rattling and grunting hard. A cruising buck responds to soft contact grunts and subtle calling. A doe responds to fawn bleats and gentle social sounds. Second, the conditions of the environment you're hunting in. Calm, quiet mornings allow soft calls that carry long distances. Windy days require louder, more aggressive calling to be heard. Cold temperatures make deer more responsive to feeding sounds. Warm early season days call for a completely silent approach instead. Third, the pressure level on the land you're actually hunting. Public land deer have heard every call in the catalog already. They associate calling with danger, so less is always more there. Private land with low pressure allows more aggressive strategies. When you combine all 3 of those factors together correctly, you arrive at exactly the right approach for that specific hunt. It's never the call that's magic, it's knowing when to use it. Those were the first 3 secrets, but we still have 4 more to go. The last one is the most important secret of all, so stay with me. Secret number 4, silence is the deadliest weapon you own. Deer don't have ears like we do, but they feel vibrations, and they feel them with incredible precision and sensitivity. Footsteps crunching through dry leaves, a truck door slamming shut, Talking to your buddy on the walk-in, a metal stand squeaking, all of that creates vibrations that travel through the ground and air, and deer associate any unnatural vibration with one thing only: danger. Old-time hunters understood this better than anyone alive today. They hunted in almost religious silence from start to finish. They stepped carefully, spoke in whispers, and moved like ghosts. They entered the woods like they were walking into a church. Today, most hunters have completely forgotten this discipline. They drive right up to the base of their stand, slam the truck door, walk in wearing stiff, noisy clothing, crank their metal climbing stand, and wonder why they see nothing for the next 6 hours. The secret is almost embarrassingly simple when you hear it. The less noise you make, the more deer you will see, period. On your next hunt, make a real conscious effort to be completely silent. From the moment you step out of your truck to the moment you sit down. Move slow, step soft, breathe quiet, and eliminate every metal sound. You will notice the difference immediately, and it will shock you. Secret number 5. Patience is not waiting, it's knowing when to move. Everybody says hunting requires patience, and that's absolutely true. But most hunters misunderstand what patience actually means in the field. Patience does not mean sitting in the same exact tree stand for 12 hours, staring at the same empty trail, hoping that a deer eventually walks by. That's not patience, and it never was. That's stubbornness, and it kills success. Real patience means having the calm to observe, analyze, and decide. You sit for the first 2 hours. If the wind shifts against you, adapt. Change, stance, adjust your position, move to where the wind is right. But you move with strategy, not with frustration driving your decisions. Professional hunters are constantly adjusting, testing, and adapting. They have the patience to pursue one buck the entire season, but zero patience for sitting in the wrong spot all day long. That's the balance that separates veterans from beginners. Secret number 6. Your weapon is an extension of your body. Experienced hunters know every single detail about the gear they carry. They know exactly how their rifle shoots at every distance. They know the trigger pull by feel alone in complete darkness. They know how their scope reacts in cold versus warm weather. This knowledge comes from hundreds of hours with the same weapon. And here is the mistake that so many hunters make every single season. They keep switching gear, constantly chasing the next shiny new thing. New rifle, new scope, new ammunition, new release, new bow setup, never spending enough time with any one combination to truly master it. The secret is to pick one solid, reliable setup and use it until you know every detail about it with your eyes closed in the dark. Until you can feel the difference between a branch brushing your barrel and the subtle weight shift of settling into a perfect shooting position. Professional hunters sometimes use the same rifle for 20 years. Not because they can't afford a new one, but because that weapon became part of them like a limb they can control without thinking. When you reach that level, your accuracy and confidence both skyrocket. Pick your setup, commit to it, and master it completely. Now the final secret, the most important one of all, mindset. Hunting is not just technique, it's not just equipment, and it's not just being in the right place at the right time. Hunting is a state of mind that separates the great from the average. The best hunters I've ever met all share one thing in common. They are completely present and totally focused on the moment. When they're in the woods, they are not thinking about work problems. They are not distracted scrolling through their phone in the stand. They are 100% connected to the forest around them, to every sound, every wind shift, every movement in the brush. That total presence makes an enormous difference in your results. You catch the flick of an ear behind a bush at 100 yards. You hear the faint snap of a twig that tells you something is coming. On top of that, truly great hunters never get frustrated easily. Bad days happen to everyone who has ever carried a rifle into the woods. But the hunter with the right mindset learns from every single bad day. He analyzes what he could have done differently and comes back stronger. This mindset of constant learning and honest self-evaluation is what separates someone who has hunted for 20 years and is still making beginner mistakes from someone who has hunted for only 5 years but already hunts like a seasoned expert. It's never about how many seasons you have under your belt. It's about the quality of attention and intention you bring each time. Be present, learn constantly, and never stop evolving as a hunter. Now you know all 7 secrets: reading the terrain, hunting at the right time, matching your approach, the power of silence, strategic patience, mastering your weapon, and the mindset of a true hunter. Separately, each one already makes a real difference in the field. Together, they completely transform the way you hunt from this day on. Now, if you want to go even deeper into the ancestral knowledge that professional hunters have been hiding for decades, the Hunter's Vault has all 12 secrets in one complete guide. It's in the first link in the description waiting for you right now. Which of these 7 secrets hit you the hardest today? Tell me in the comments, because I want to know which one you're going to put into practice on your very next hunt. If this video helped you, smash that like button to help the channel grow. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now and hit the bell. Every week, there's a new video about hunting secrets right here. This is American Hunting Secrets, and I'll see you in the next one.